This is your Vancouver real estate market update for March 2020, and we're getting after it right after this. Hey everyone, I'm Craig Veroni with Masters Realty. I'm your local real estate agent here in Vancouver, BC. And welcome to the COVID-19 at-home edition of this month's market update. As you can see in the background, I've got a boxing bag set up in my living room. My son is on the boxing team at Griffin's Boxing and Fitness, and he needs to continue to train, so we've had to set this up in the living room. I've got other equipment all over the place. I'm sure many of you are experiencing some similar things in your home during this pandemic. But we're here, and I'm bringing you this month's market update. In today's video, I'm going to be joined by my colleagues Karen Gibbard from Gibbard Group Financial, as well as Des Tsourpi from my office at Masters Realty. We'll be covering what's happened in the Vancouver real estate market through the month of March, what's coming that could affect that market, and a piece of technology that I'm utilizing to make your home buying and selling experience a smoother one. I shoot a ton of videos about what it's like to live, love, and own here in Vancouver, BC. So if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell as well so you can be notified the moment that I have a new video out. I really want you to be able to stay up to date on all of the latest tips and insights into the Vancouver real estate market so you can become an expert too. So let's dive into it. There was a 46.1% increase in the sales recorded from March of 2019 to those recorded in March of 2020. This is significant given that the second half of March is when we all went into lockdown. There was a 17.4% increase in the sales recorded from February of 2020 to March of 2020. Looking at the broader view, last month's sales were still 19.9% below the 10-year March sales average. The first 2 weeks of March were the busiest days of the year for our region, with heightened demand and multiple offers becoming more common. And like many other aspects of our lives, this all changed as the concerns over the COVID-19 situation in our province grew. Daily residential sales on the region's MLS were 138 on average during the first 10 business days of the month. In the final 10 days of the month, the daily average declined to 93. Many of the sales recorded in March were already in process before the provincial government declared a state of emergency. So we will need more time to pass to fully understand the impact that the pandemic is having on the real estate market here in Vancouver. When you're looking for a home, knowledge is key, and the SnapStats market reports are a great way to arm yourself with a ton of knowledge about what's happening in your market area. To download the full reports, simply click on the images below for either the Metro Vancouver or the Greater Vancouver report. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, down in the description below is a link to a sample report which I send to my clients on a monthly basis. Go ahead and click on that, review it, and if you think that it's something of value, and trust me, you are going to love these reports, then simply fill out your name and email address to start receiving those reports monthly.
I'm here with two wicked smart women, as they say. So I want to dive into, first of all, what's happened over the last month.
Whew. So obviously we saw a number of policy changes that came with the banks. We saw a lot of technology changes of how lenders and different service providers were assisting us through this challenge. As far as interest rates were concerned, we saw a drastic drop in the amount of money the lenders were able to get to lend out. So they don't have, banks and smaller lenders don't have enough money from the RSPs or the checking accounts or savings accounts to turn around and lend that out in mortgages. So they end up packaging them up and selling them off to investors, freeing up their liquidity so they can lend out money again. And that's how it keeps churning. So what we saw was all of a sudden these investors were saying, I need something a little safer. I don't want to do that. And we saw lenders all of a sudden scrambling because they were looking at the pipeline of, do they have enough money to continue lending at the same levels they were? So the government, luckily, they stepped in and they said, we are going to take some measures to assist with that. But in the meantime, the cost to the lenders to lend out a mortgage to you just went up. So they passed that on to the consumer. So we saw rates, and I'm talking the 5-year fixed term rates just to make it simple, not the prime rate at this point, because that's a completely different animal. But we saw, and I took a quick peek, so we saw from, and I'm just going to talk about a conventional rate, meaning if you have 20% down, buying your home, the standard discounted rate. On March 6th, that was about 2.59%. When all this went down and the liquidity became an issue with lenders and they started passing on their cost, their higher cost of borrowing to the client, we all of a sudden saw that go up. March 13th to 2.94, March 23rd to 3.24. Now we've just had a bit of relief today because the government has injected a lot. They're creating bonds, they're buying bonds, they're doing things to free up liquidity for these lenders. We've now seen that come down to 3.04 and then further down. It's probably going to be about 2.99. Now these are the kind of like the standard discounted rates. There's always variables up and down depending on the client's situation and the lender, but at least it gives an indication what's happened. It went crazy high and then has now settled down a little bit. So we're looking forward to that. On the prime rate side, we saw the Bank of Canada dropping the bank rate significantly. So we saw a 1.5% rate drop on the prime lending rate since March the 5th. So just a little bit over a month. If you were sitting in a variable rate mortgage or anything that's based on the prime rate at that time, your rate has effectively dropped 1.5%. And that's just the government trying to make sure that our economy is stable throughout this with lower interest rates. The rates are still incredibly low historically, but we are looking at slightly higher interest rates than we were a month ago or 3 weeks ago. So the same premise happened for high ratio mortgages. It was just a lower starting rate and a lower ending rate, because those are always a little bit cheaper for the lenders because they are insured by the government. So there's less risk. So they're able to sell those off a lot easier and lend out more money. So it's much cheaper for the banks to do that. So they do pass those savings on to the clients.
I have still seen a lot of clients reaching out saying, I'm still shopping, I still need a place to live. I've seen sellers still, calling saying, I need to sell my home. These are wheels that were set in motion not yesterday or during the COVID. These are things that life events, etc., that sort of started that wheel in motion. And all of a sudden, here we are, a pandemic hits, and life goes on for some of these people. I mean, I've just had a listing in Lynn Valley Terrace, like in the West Lynn Terrace pocket. It went to multiple offers and it sold above ask. But it was a lovely offering in a great school catchment, and it went to a lovely family. And all the people that were bidding on it were families that essentially had sold or were about to sell and were looking for housing.
The listing you sold in Lynn Valley, may I ask, was that listed after COVID-19? Yeah. So that listing came
last week and it sold, 5 days later, and it's so this was literally last week.
So what can we expect in the next month? Can we expect more of the same fluctuation?
Well, the Bank of Canada met today. They didn't change their bank rate at all. And the economist was coming out saying the outlook is too uncertain to provide a complete forecast of what's happening with interest rates. Do I see them going through the roof? No, I don't think our economy can withstand that. And I think with the new measures that the government's bringing out to keep the banks liquid, I don't see them going down a ton either. I think we see a band of maybe 0.5% either way for interest rates. 8 months down the road, 10 months down the road, when we're through this, I could see there might be adjustments in especially the variable rate mortgages. We can see maybe the discounting on that change and for the better for clients. But for right now, I don't see huge changes in the interest rates. And start collecting documents up front. We're going to see all of a sudden lenders are now, because their scrutiny is on the client's income, employment, they want to make sure that these people are going to be still employed when they get this mortgage. They want to see documents up front. So I would advise anybody that's looking to get a mortgage right now, get your ducks in a row. Get your job letter, get your pay stub, get your T4s, get whatever documents your broker or your lender says to get them up front, send them in so that they can be reviewed. And some lenders won't even issue an approval until they see those documents. It's uncertain times, and they want to make sure that they're not putting themselves at undue risk.
What we can expect to see going forward, again, I keep saying this, but it is a supply and demand issue. Right now, we still have a good balanced market. There's not a lot of inventory out there. When people people are looking. There's not a lot of items to choose from, and the prices are still holding solid. I haven't seen, or at least in the products that I've been dabbling in over the last month, I have not seen a big haircut in terms of pricing. Is that going to be the same moving forward? I don't know. I think it's going to take us a little bit of time, like a couple of months of data, to really see where the trend line is going and what's happening. And 2 weeks is not enough. 3 weeks is not enough. I think this is a situation where there's not a lot of people that are looking to list their home, given the climate that we're in, unless they need or want to sell.
Right.
So that's going to limit the amount of spring market or, spring inventory that we're going to be seeing. And as long as that's restricted, I sense that we're not going to be seeing that huge dip in pricing that, a lot of people would be hoping for. Somebody actually asked me even about, what happens if people start to default and then there's bankruptcies and foreclosures. I'm like, I don't know, the last I heard, it still takes 18 months for that to go through the court system. Like, it could be a long time for people to be waiting for those.
Well, now with the mortgage deferral program, there is some relief. So I don't see there being a bunch of foreclosures right away.
Well, I don't either. I really don't. I'm wondering if this might not be another sort of cocooning period where coming out at the end of this, we might realize how important, your home actually is, right? Depending on how much time we're spending here.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has ever experienced an event like this where we've had to spend so much time in our homes with our loved ones in close proximity. So there may be many people thinking, I need more space.
I need more space.
My own office.
I need a bigger pantry. I need a bigger freezer.
I've got a boxing bag in my living room, for God's sake. I mean, come on.
I need a gym.
I need more space. I think you're right. I agree. I have a similar feeling myself, and time will tell. But here in Vancouver, our market, we've had a lot of pent-up demand for a number of months.
Yes.
Our inventory has been quite low for a while. So, and a lot of buyers have been sitting on the fence for many months. So I think we do have a lot of pent-up demand still already there that's waiting to be unleashed when we do get back to some sort of normalcy.
For sure.
And I think that the cocooning period is going to be very influential in people's feelings about their home and how important their home is. Because as you said, Des, it's really important what you're looking out your window at every day.
Absolutely.
What neighborhood you're surrounded by. What is this? As Marie Kondo says, is this sparking joy? Right?
Walking around, touching everything.
This view is not sparking joy right now. So I think people are going through that. I think people definitely are evaluating what's important to them in life, as you said, Des. Do I want to do more traveling in my life? I think people, particularly at this point in time, are taking a hard look at what really is important to them. Where do I want to spend my money? Right? What are all the unnecessary things that I can just get rid of and I don't need, but what are the things that I really care about and want out of life? So I think that a lot of those things are going to present themselves as we start to come out this.
We have low interest rates, relatively low interest rates. Net migration of people coming into BC and into the Lower Mainland has slowed down. That's going to build back up again. We have the listings are potentially lower than they usually are at this time. So when the floodgates open, I do think it's going to be very busy. So if we're proactive and get our clients organized with what they're looking at, get them pre-approved, and just have strategies in place, we're going to be able to navigate when everything hits. We're going to be able to navigate that very solidly for our clients.
This pandemic has left many agents scrambling to find ways to connect with their clients, show homes to buyers virtually, and market homes using video and 3D virtual tours. For agents like myself who have employed all of these tools and technologies in their business for years, the transition has been seamless. Now, don't get me wrong, I am grieving the current situation just like you. I would much rather be out and about, meeting with my clients and showing them homes. My business, however, is completely set up to continue operating at 100% capacity during this pandemic. I, like many other realtors, have been working to help and guide my clients through this uncertain period. Many people have understandably put their home buying or selling plans on hold for now. Other people have more urgent housing needs, and we're working with them to try to address those needs in the safest and most responsible way possible. As I mentioned, I'm Craig Veroni with RE/MAX Masters Realty. I'm your local real estate agent here in Vancouver, BC. If you're moving or thinking of moving to the Metro Vancouver area, or moving from one part of Metro Vancouver to another and want to know more about specific neighborhoods, I have shot a ton of neighborhood videos around Metro Vancouver, and we'll be shooting many more in the upcoming months. So be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a thing. I really hope you've enjoyed this month's market update, and if so, would you do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button, give this video a like, and don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next month. And remember, this is where you live, love, own Vancouver.